Hi students, now let's look at one of the most important topic in Form 5, one of the most challenging topic in Form 5 for most of the students. Yeah, we are looking at SPM Biology Form 5 Chapter 3 Nutrition in Plants. This is Kssm syllabus, yeah? Okay, now let's look at 3.1, which is main inorganic nutrients, yeah? Main inorganic nutrients for plants. Now when you look at plants they don't obtain nutrients such as carbohydrate, protein and lipids, except for some other plants like carnivorous plants. They do digest food like insects. They are called as carnivorous plants. All right, we will look into that in the same chapter in 3.3, but we are looking at the most kind of plants that they will conduct this process, which is known as photosynthesis process. And for them to conduct this photosynthesis process, they need some inorganic nutrients. Okay, they need some inorganic nutrients. All right, so when you look at inorganic nutrients, like what like these macronutrients. Okay, macronutrients, we have CHO, which is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and calcium, magnesium and sulfur. These are macronutrients, the nutrient that is needed in large quantity for the plants. Without these nutrients, the plant will not be able to function properly. They will, if any of these nutrients were in scarce quantity or very less quantity, what will happen? The plant will exhibit some kind of deficiency. For each type of nutrient, they will show different kind of deficiency. All right, so we are looking at macronutrients. It's very easy to remember: CHO, NPK, Kssm. Now Kssm, it's not a bad language here. Kiss in Bahasa Melayu is cium, so we can call that as calcium. All right, Ma is magnesium. I didn't use the actual magnesium Mg2 plus. I didn't use that. I used Ma because I want to create a kind of like formula for you to remember the macronutrients easily. Ma is magnesium and Fe is sulfur. So CHO, NPK, Kssm. These are the macronutrients that the plant needs in large quantity. And then we have something called the micronutrients. Micronutrients are nutrient that is needed by the plant in trace quantity or small quantity. Okay, these micronutrients are boron, chlorine, zinc, iron, molybdenum, copper, manganese and nickel. Now, how do you remember these micronutrients? It's one of the challenging thing for students to remember the type of macro and micronutrients, especially the micronutrient, because they have quite a number of it. Now, easy way to remember is if you look at this, I have boximokomani. Boximokomani. It sounds like an African word. Boximokomani. Now, if you look at boximokomani, if you can't really remember the word like boximokomani, what you do, you change one of your BFF's name in your phone. Boximokomani. Let's say your BFF name is Brad Pitt. Okay, so you will change your BFF's number to Boximokomani. This person will constantly message you in WhatsApp or in Telegram, and you see their name Boximokomani and appears quite a number of times, and you will be able to remember that in 2 or 3 weeks time. This is how you remember the micronutrient. Same thing, if you don't have enough of these micronutrient, you will be the plant will be facing some deficiency, and they will show the effects of it. Okay, so we will be looking into what are the effects of, if let's say one of the macronutrient is not there, what is going to happen to the plant? If one of the micronutrient is not there, what is going to happen to the plant? This is what we're going to look at it. Okay. Alright guys, we are looking at the macronutrients now. Now when you look at the three main type of macronutrients that is needed by the plant, which is the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Now, if you look at these three type of macronutrients, which is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, they can obtain easily from the environment. Like carbon, usually the plant gets it from the carbon dioxide gas, and the carbon dioxide gas is available in the atmosphere. So the plant will do gases exchange process using their stomata, that is regulated by the guard cell. During daytime, the guard cells will open its stomata and allow the carbon dioxide gas to move inside the plant, and the carbon dioxide gas will be used in photosynthesis process. They will be reduced into something called the glucose, and also they can produce amino acids. They can produce these lipid products, and also they can produce all the vitamins and important organic component for the plant to grow. Now, for hydrogen and oxygen, plants will usually get it from the water. Okay, they will get it from the water. They will absorb the water from the soil, and they will bring this water through the xylem, and they bring it to the leaves, where the leaves are the organ that conduct photosynthesis process. Yes, they will use water and carbon dioxide to produce these important organic compounds. Now, these carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, they make up most of the dry mass of the plants. Okay, they make up the whole dry mass of the plant. Therefore, lack of this nutrient is rarely experienced by the plants. Okay, lack of these nutrients is rarely experienced by the plant. And if let's say there is a lack of supply of any of this, then the plant will not be able to grow properly. They will have stunted growth, and also they will die if one of these are not there for the plants. Yeah, these are the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Now let's look at the other, which is the most important one. Okay, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Let's look at it. All right, these are the deficiency of nitrogen. Okay, these are the deficiency of nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most important element which is needed by the plant for them to build the amino acid. Now, amino acid needs nitrogen, and plants usually absorb nitrogen in the form of nitrates. Yeah, NO3 negative. Yeah, the soil will be supplied with nitrates, and nitrate is the one that plants will absorb through the roots, and they bring it to the leaf, and the nitrate will be used in the production of amino acid. If, let's say, the plant does not have enough nitrogen supply, then the plant will not be able to produce amino acid, and amino acid is one of the most important component in the production of chlorophyll. So if the plant does not have chlorophyll, what happens? The plant, a leaf will appear yellow in color. Usually, the matured leaf is the one that will exhibit yellow color. Okay, that means they are going through a process which is known as the chlorosis process. Now, let me write that down for you. Okay, this process that they will exhibit is known as chlorosis. Okay, let me write that down for you. Chlorosis, a very important word. Okay, a very important word in chlorosis. Yeah, a very important word. This word will usually come out in the exam, especially in paper 1 and also in paper 2 and also in paper 3. Yeah, just paper 3 is experiment paper. Please be aware of that. Chlorosis is where the chlorophyll is not produced well, and the leaf will appear yellow. Okay, chlorosis, remember that. Yeah, okay, nitrogen, that is what the deficiency of nitrogen is all about. And they have stunted growth because you don't have amino acids, you don't have protein for them to build themselves, so they don't grow. Okay, they have stunted growth. Okay, now let's look at the other one, which is known as the phosphorus. Okay, phosphorus happen to be it causes the darkening around the edges of the leaf. Okay, the leaf will turn dark and dry, and also they have very small or absence of flower, and they have stunted growth. Okay, phosphorus is also important in the production of DNA, nucleic acid, and also they need in the production of ATP. Yeah, so they will lack of energy. The plant will be lacking of energy. And another thing that you guys will need to know, they will create something called the red and purple spots. Okay, the leaf will appear, some part of the leaf will have purple or they have red spots. Remember this as well. Okay, it will come out in exam. Yeah, one of the very famous one that they will come out in exam. So phosphorus, this is what the deficiency. Phosphorus, these are the effect of plants. Let's look at the next one. The next one we are looking at is potassium. When you look at potassium, it causes the leaf, the edges of the leaf to have brown or yellow, yellowing of the edges of the leaf will become brown or yellow, and also the vein will appear yellow. Okay, and potassium is a very important element which is needed for the opening and closing of stomata. Okay, and if let's say potassium is not enough, the plant will start to die as well, because they won't be able to open and close their stomata, and that will lead to the plant losing some carbon dioxide gas, and they won't be able to produce photosynthesis process. So that is potassium. Okay, now let's look at the next one, magnesium. This is another very famous one. They usually will connect nitrogen and magnesium. Why? Magnesium is the fundamental element needed by the chlorophyll pigment. If you look at the center of the chlorophyll pigment, they have this magnesium. And remember what I taught you guys in photosynthesis? Photosynthesis, during light dependent reaction, you have these what you call these electrons supplied by the water molecule. The hydroxyl ion will have these extra electron, and these electrons will be donated to the magnesium. And magnesium, what they do, they will excite this electron to higher energy level. That is the one that actually accepts the electron from the hydroxyl ion and excites the electron to higher energy level. This is what the most important thing in chlorophyll pigment. And if you don't have the plant, if the plant doesn't have enough magnesium, the chlorophyll pigment will not appear green in color. So it will also appear yellow, and usually the veins will turn yellow. You can see the veins are not dark in color. It is now yellow in color, and the veins of the plant leaf will appear yellow in color. And then the next one we look at calcium. Calcium, if the plant does not have enough calcium, they will have yellow spots between the leaf veins. And also please remember that the leaves will also turn to become lobed. Okay, they have lobed leaves. Okay, distorted leaf. Okay, distorted leaves. Yeah, okay. Calcium deficiency also cause the leaf to become lobed or distorted. Yeah, and finally sulfur, which I did not include here. Sulfur, if there is not enough of sulfur, the plant will show stunted growth as well. These are the macronutrient needed by the plant. If you look at micronutrient, we will look into micronutrient. Right, now let's look at micronutrient. As I told you, micronutrient, there are quite a number of micronutrient: boron, chlorine, zinc, iron, molybdenum, copper, manganese, nickel. You can easily remember that using the word, the silly word, boximocoma. Remember Z, zinc, iron, that means ZII. So you got boximocomani, okay, boximocomani. Remember that boximocomani, okay. So usually what they will ask you to identify, okay, which one of this is macronutrient and which one of this is micronutrient. They will ask you to identify. But they won't ask you, okay, you need to remember all the different type of micronutrient, and each of one of this, you need to know the function and you need to know the deficiency of it. Don't force yourself to memorize all that. If you look at your textbook and your revision book, there are too many functions and deficiency. There are too many things for you to remember. I understand that you have a lot more things to put inside your brain. Now I'm making your life much more easy. I have 21 years of experience teaching this thing. So let me tell you something, every time exam comes, there is some kind of standard thing that they only ask you certain things, okay? They won't ask you anything more than that. So please listen to me carefully. So when you look at micronutrients, what are the micronutrients that you really need to remember? So for that, we will need to look at culture solution, okay, that is used to study the importance of nutrient for the plant growth. The culture solution that we are looking at is known as the NOPS solution. Now remember, when you write NOPS solution, the K has to be capital because it refers to kata nama am, yeah? So it is referring to a person's name. These two people are actually Wilhelm and Knox. These are two people in 1859, that's long ago. They have created this culture solution to study the effect on plant growth. If let's say one of the nutrient they remove from the solution, they found out that the plant is exhibiting some kind of deficiency, some kind of effect. The culture solution happens to give a proper nutrient for the plants to show a proper growth. Now, the NOP solution, what are the components of NOP solution? Let's look at the component of the NOP solution first, yeah? These are the components of the NOP solution. So, you have 0.8 gram of calcium nitrate. One of the students asked me, Mr. San, do I need to remember all these? I tell you what, usually they will give you this and they won't force you to, you no need to remember what are the components of the NOP solution, but you will need to know, okay, you have all the macronutrient and one of the micronutrient here, which is calcium nitrate. You see, nitrate is the form of nitrogen that we want. You have calcium, okay, and then you see potassium nitrate. We have potassium, and again we have nitrate because the plant needs nitrate in a good quantity for them to produce amino acids and protein. Potassium dihydrogen phosphate. So you got again potassium and you got phosphate. Potassium is needed to build the nucleic acid, and also they will need energy in the form of adenosine diphosphate. Potassium is also needed, and phosphate also needed in the form to produce energy. Magnesium sulfate. Magnesium, as I told you guys, they need that in production of what? The chlorophyll, yeah, and sulfur also is a very important element, and all that, if you look at it, they are given in large quantities, 0.8 gram, 0.2 gram, 0.2 gram, 0.2 gram, and all these are macronutrients. And again, you look at the last one, which is under trace. Trace means very little, yeah, very little. Trace element is iron phosphate. Iron is ferrum, okay, iron is ferrum, so we know iron is ferrum, and so if you look at ferrum is one of the trace element. And so we have all, I mean, not all the micronutrient we have here, but we have the trace element of iron, and that is under the NOP solution, remember that. And iron, you only need to know the deficiency of iron, okay? So that's how easy it is. So if you look at deficiency of iron, this is the deficiency of iron, look at it. Iron deficiency, you can easily spot that if you look at their young leaf that grows, it appears to be yellow. So chlorosis is happening to these young leaves. And how to differentiate the difference between iron and nitrogen deficiency? The young leaves appear to be yellow or white, and the veins appear to be dark green veins, and this is because of iron deficiency. And another one, we call that as the nitrogen deficiency. We can see that the matured leaves appear to be yellow. Okay, and the veins also turn to become yellow, and this is what you guys will need to know. Nitrogen, the older leaves, and the iron deficiency is the young shoot. Okay, so this is what you guys need to know under the macro and the micronutrient, guys. Okay, very simple. You don't have to force yourself to remember a lot of things. Just remember as how I taught you guys, okay? Very simple. Don't force yourself to memorize all the things that you have. You try to look at your textbook. It's just so crazy. A lot of things are there, and don't force yourself. Go smart. Learn smart. The smart way of learning. Okay, and keep looking at my notes, all right? And this is going to help you a lot on understanding this particular chapter. And this chapter is very short. Next, we will look into 3.2 and 3.3. you.